In a little bit of desperation, Uber has brought back UberPool. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, or heck, if you've been enjoying our videos recently, please do a favor. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and leave a comment on what you would like to hear us talk about in the future. We usually talk about finances, credit cards, and e-commerce, and investing. And, well, this video has kind of become like a throwback to what this channel used to be about, which was rideshare and the gig economy. Now, when I made yesterday's video, I post-edit titled it Part 1 because there was a second part we needed to discuss. But then something else came up, and now we are in a de facto trilogy, kind of highlighting why the gig economy is finally imploding on itself. Now, a shout out to Dark Road Run, who is a friend of mine. He was the one who broke this news, but Uber brought back UberPool, and for long-time viewers of this channel, you'll know that UberPool was a bane on drivers' existence, especially since when it came out, it was like you did more work, got less money, kind of like how you did driving Uber over time. And at the time, if you rejected too many rides, you would be kicked off or put in a timeout. Now, they can't do that anymore. Now you can reject as many rides as you want. But at the time, you could be put in timeout, thus affecting your earnings. And plus, even if someone used UberPool, they were using it because they wanted it to be cheaper. And when it was time to actually pick someone else up, they would start arguing with you, and they would more often than not leave a lower star grade because they were expecting a private card at a cheaper price because passengers don't always read the fine print. Well, that was done away with the pandemic, and I know some of you, unfortunately, a lot of you think that the pandemic was just this big hoax by the government, but you probably will not deny that, hey, if anything good came out of it, Uber took away UberPool. Well, they brought it back, but here's the thing. Uber is also fully aware that UberPool was not popular. It was not popular with the drivers. It was not popular with the passengers. I'm not even sure if it was popular with the investors, because even though it was more lucrative for Uber to push UberPool, it created so much negative publicity that I don't even know if the investors liked it all that much. Well, it's back, but Uber's doing a little bit of Schadenfreude, as they say, or a little bit of rebranding, maybe a soft reboot. They're calling it UberX Share. It's not UberPool anymore, it's UberX Share. Now, I'm going to give them this much credit. With a name like UberX Share, there should be a lot less confusion going into it what it is. This is a ride you are sharing with someone else. So, on that note, this is a positive thing. However, for everyone else, it's still bad. First of all, we are not officially out of the pandemic yet. We just aren't. We are definitely getting there, and I am cautiously optimistic that we will beat this thing. I was always optimistic that we would beat this thing, but I'm cautiously optimistic that it's coming to an end. But the bottom line is it's still a contentious issue. You have people who are trying to be very serious. They want to separate themselves from other people. They want to wear masks. And then you have people who, frankly, don't care about the other person. They don't care that you not wearing a mask makes them uncomfortable. They just don't want to be told what to do. Now, a positive thing about this is that I don't think this conflict is going to come too much to a head, because people who want to be spread out and everything probably won't be using UberX Share. It's in the title of what they're getting. They don't want to share the car with as many people as possible because they want to be safe. So this probably won't be an issue. But the concept is still the same. They will give the passenger a slightly cheaper ride, but they will be paying you, the driver, a lot less money. And of course, Uber always did intend to bring this back. I'm not going to act like they didn't, but their Q1 results came back and they were ugly. See the last episode, or part 1 if you want, if you're watching this in the future. Uber needs some extra cash. This is a great way for them to do it. One of the reasons UberPool was always so detested is that, yeah, they did charge a little less from the rider. That is true. But the cut that the driver got was way more than the cut that the passenger got. And Uber made more money off UberPool. Plus, it was a good way to just keep the drivers driving, like so that they didn't take their breaks, that they couldn't strategize. I mean, that was really the big thing with Pool. All you strategic drivers out there who figured out how to game the system. Hey, you're using UberPool, guess what? You're not strategizing at all, because UberPool will make sure that you are always moving. You don't even have time to think about location, strategy, whatever. So it was a win-win for Uber. It was a lose-lose for drivers. And by the way, I think this was where anti-Uber sentiment really started to come up on the driver's side. Is it going to work as well this time? It probably will not. First of all, again, Uber is being more transparent about it this time. UberX Share, that's a great title, because yes, you are sharing an Uber. So there's no more confusion, because when you saw UberX and UberPool, the only thing most people saw, hey, UberPool's cheaper, let's get it. And then they were shocked that it was more expensive. I remember when I was driving, going to pick someone up, they had called an UberPool. They had 4 people, a bunch of Easter baskets. This was Easter Day, obviously, and stuff like that. And I said, you can't do this on a pool. You have to use an UberX. You need your own car. And the lady looked at me. It's like, UberX is more expensive. Well, tough luck, lady. If someone else calls for a ride, someone's going to get kicked out of this car. And it's going to be you for not following the rules. So UberPool was always a problem in that regard. When it's called Share, most people, at least I hope, I pray, that when they see Share, they will see that they are going to be sharing that car. They're not going to have it themselves. But other than that, hey, we're still in a pandemic. Most people don't want to be next to strangers, especially strangers who don't want to wear masks or get vaccinated. And I think drivers are very wise at this point that it's a bad deal for them. So they're going to be just rejecting this ride. Now, this is something that Uber can also say, or they could highlight, as I should tell you, their next earnings report, like, we introduced a new product, UberX Share, and we have gained this much money from that new product. It's not a new product. They haven't necessarily gained new riders, but it's showing growth in a new product. This is totally a stock market gimmick is what this is. This is there to make the company look like it's growing in an area, because another reason the gig economy companies are going down is, like, after 5 years, well, I guess they've been public for 3 years, but really since their inception, they've never made a profit, and now it's just finally coming to a head, to the point where Lyft stock, I actually think Lyft stock, let me check real quick, is lower. Okay, it's not quite lower than $20. It got a little bit of an uptick, but yeah, it's really, really bad. And this is something that Uber can use to sell to their shareholders that they have a new product, and this is how much they made, and they're going to show growth. That is what this is about. And of course, if they pocket a little bit more money from the rides, great. The question is, are the shareholders going to buy it? And that is going to be the subject of part 3 of this newly minted trilogy. In the meantime, I do want to know, what do you think about Uber Share X? And if you're a driver, are you going to be using it as a passenger? Does this clear up some things? I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, blame responsibly. Have a good one.